All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, Chegube is an amazing body of work, and yet people tell me one of their favorite songs of this body of work is Beautiful Art. I like Beautiful Art so much because it was able to provide a creative diversity in the sense that I wrote in a creative style of Coldplay, the famous band, or yet the infamous band, would I say. Known for their soft rock and world music. But then this song incorporates this genre of soft rock and world music and pop at the same time. And you'd be able to tell from the kick progressions, And also, if you stick around to the end, I just might or definitely will show you the original version or play the original version as to what the song Beautiful Art sounded like when I wrote the song. So written at the tempo of 106 BPM, I would like to delve into each and every element of the song. I originally wrote the song over my guitar, right? And at some point, I would get to show you the authenticity that I preserved in it, right? And so this is just a simple chord that is really just playing, right? And giving that bounce, right? And so I also doubled this for the stereo effect, okay? I like to also note that it would be nice to use a headphone or some AirPod or just an earpiece to listen to be able to attain and absorb the whole authenticity and genuine creativity that is splashed around this instrumental, right? And so here we have it. And because I also made an inference to the lyrics in Beautiful Art, if you haven't listened, I made an inference to a broken art and I had to creatively reproduce that since we're talking about creativity. Sounds like a broken guitar, right? This is what my chord sounds like. Okay. And then I have a bass guitar, gives me the groove, right? I'm gonna turn the metronomy on so you just have that bounce in your head, right? And so everything is piecing together, making sense, right? Out of nothing. Broken guitar right here, okay? I have my pads really because I wanted to attain that celestial I wanted to attain that celestial element, and you notice that this I had a little bit of transposition going on right here because the original song was written in the key of B, and I had two chords, D and E. This is what it sounds like, right? Just my chords. Okay, knowing that that is what it sounds like, I have a transposition going on in one of the pads, right? Because I wanted attaining a certain difference in what the production output would sound like sonically, and more importantly, to be able to give a diversity, and more also importantly, to be able to attain in reference and respect to using this particular sound, be able to attain that celestial or ethereal soundscape, right? And so I have another pad with a little bit of depth going on there. I have this too, right? Okay, and a brass, right? A brass for the bounce, added layer of bounce, and my bass, right? It's sweet, it's melodious, it's calm, it's charming, it's inviting, right? What did I use for this? Electric funk guitar, flex plugin, stock plugin, flex in particular, right? And one question you'd want to ask is, Chad, what is the muse to the song? So the muse to the song is an animated version of me, but a much more younger animated version of me who is going on to seek companionship amongst celestial bodies. And if you listen in the lyrics, you see how this person or this character eventually tells the stars and the moon and the sun of how beautiful they are and how much he eventually waits for every single person to come together. So this is more like seeking escapism from the usual outside world. So it's just creative in its own way, all right? And admitting beauty in all of these creations, all right? And yeah, so there we have it. I have my pads, right? And what am I missing out on? Delving into the kick and the drums, this is what it sounds like. Missed out on that one, right? Simple kick, really. You have my hats. And if you notice, you listen, pay attention closely, you would notice a little bit of notes going, switching, really. Where do I find that? That's my fine pitch, right? Just little diversity right there. And what my perks sound like. Gives it a bounce. Claps really. Right? Okay, reach it out. Alright, so introducing all of these instruments individually, you get the bounce, you get the feel, and it's beautiful, sounds really nice. I have my broken guitar again. And moving further to the song, this is something that is quite enticing as well. What is that? This is my organ. I love this so much because it gives a different feel to the song, right? When you listen to it ordinarily, it's amazing. It takes you to church. Take it back to the church right here. Right? It comes in at the end anyway. So um without further much ado, I would also like to delve into one of the things that made the song enticing in itself. And what is that? Is the fact that I preserved the authenticity of what I wrote the song originally, right? And so this is what it sounds like. Considering that I wrote the song over a guitar, I wanted to preserve the authenticity, the elements that the guitar brings, the soul that the guitar brings, and those transients that comes with having to strike the chords in an arpeggio format, right? So this is what I have right here. Okay. All right, so that's just guitar noise. If I increase the gain a little bit, just did that for the noise effect, right? So it's just subtle elements coming together. Okay, so delving into the channel rack to show what I have going on in the hood. This is my channel rack, and I like to, most of the time, if not all, not necessarily almost all of the time, I like to arrange my instrumentations or my instrumentals and bosses after apparently gain staging and running some EQ, right? So I have my drum boss parallel compression going on, my strings and my guitar. And considering that I had this guitar played separately or live, right? I would want to show you what I had going on right there. So parametric EQ with a lot of fine curves, very beautiful and fine curves. Did I hear you say something? Oh, okay, I thought as much. So yes, I have my parametric EQ with a lot of fine curves, right? So I have I accentuated the high end just to give you that feel. I have a low end, just a notch on the low end to cut off the more the frequency. This is quite a bit too much if I'm looking at this 3.8 minus negative 3.8 dB. I have a roll off at around 200 hertz. Okay, still a fine curve, right? Sounded right to me as at the time when I did this. Okay, I have a fruity compressor. This is usually my go-to compressor. All right, gain of the 3 dB, threshold of minus 32 dB, 10 milliseconds for allowing an attack, for allowing a little bit of those transients and punch, right? And then a release of 204 4:1. Okay, vintage style. Fruity Bloody Overdrive for saturation purpose. Okay, all right, and then I have a delay and reverb and amplitude that I missed out on, which sounded good, but too good because it gave me a very fat sound and I didn't want to have some phasing issues. Okay, and so I had to settle for vintage chorus, which gave it that throwback style, 90s style, a little bit with a little bit of dust to it, right? And hyperchorus I missed out on, and a fruity soft clipper and another fine EQ going on right there. Okay, so what else do I have? Knowing that that is the major thing going on right there under the hood, I'd like to then delve into what this original sound is. And so I wrote the song around 2025, August 28th, before then, within that period. And just to let you know that this might sound a little bit loud, but muffled, but just so that you get the idea and the bigger picture to what beautiful art sounds like and as at when I wrote it. Okay. For the sun to meet with the stars, bang bang, I'll wait for the sun with my broken guitar. Bang bang, say, ooh, what a good way to start. Bang bang, bang, say, ooh, then you light up the world. Such a beautiful art. All right, ladies and gentlemen, beautiful art right there. And it's beautiful and yet so imperfect because songs are sometimes imperfect, right? And then it goes through a rigorous process sometimes of polishing and cleaning, right? Not all songs are perfect most of the times. But then again, is there anything entirely perfect, right? So back to it, right? A cake, my hats, my perks, and toms for the weights, right? And then sliders, really effects, risers in and out, right? And then we have your organ, which takes a bite to church, brings that balance, really. And then the slap. Did I forget to mention this? I entirely forgot to mention about the slap. Slap is very, very, very beautiful, right? The slap serves as an accompaniment to the bass, it brings something different, right? Yeah. So it gives a different balance. This is where the rock really comes in, right? Okay, and then every other thing. So every moment with you. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is anything you would love me to touch on during the course of my production, you could as well simply drop that in the comment section and let me know. So a recap, beautiful art, younger animated version of me, written in style of Coldplay creatively, and more also 106 BPM, soft rock, pop, and world music. And what else? Just go on to stream and listen and share beautiful and good music. More importantly, do you stay true and not lose out on your purpose